give the new playlist a spin. Radio Flash. Hear all the insights on the world of racing on Sounds of Red Bull, the official channel of motorsport.
boys and girls, I hope you can keep up because we're about to go hard with the elite of motorsports, the AGP. Cars that can easily go up to 220 miles per hour. And because we always want more in this playlist, we add boost gauges. It's going to be strategic. And as always, I did my homework and talked all things racing with a pro driver. You might know him, Yuki Tsunoda. Could you break down what you feel your driving style is for us watching you on the screen?
My dad used to teach me a lot about braking. Definitely, I like to adapt braking. Recently, last two Grand Prix was a bit too much sometimes, and yeah, unfortunately, a couple of times went to the wall. You know, it feels great when you feel the G-force. You know, with the maximum longitudinal G-force when you have nailed the great braking.
And beside braking hard, be focused at the start. It's decisive for the rest of the race.
Drivers are focused. The start is imminent. Let's go! A full AGP race. Using boosts in the right place at the right time will be decisive. It's raining. It's going to be a completely different race from now on. AGP Museum is on this circuit. 4 generations, RB 13, 14, 18 and 20. 7 years of evolution from Renault to Honda engines. Between them, these 4 account for more than 70 podiums. Ultimate lap. Drivers, if you've got any extra nitro, now's the time to use it. Superb victory. Proof that RB AGP just keeps getting better and better.
RB20. You can keep it for what follows, but you can also opt for a vehicle that's a little less earthbound. The choice is yours.
Podcast, guys. As you've seen, the playground is a motorsports paradise, but there's still a place that we haven't experienced so far. The sky. I was lucky enough to feature Luke Chapella, Red Bull Air Race pilot, famous for being the first to land a plane on the very tiny helipad 600 feet in the air.
I'd love to know more about the bullseye stunt. There's an attempt, and then the plane bounces and you keep going, and I had a heart attack and was like, oh my God.
I almost got a heart attack on the first one as well. It took me 650 practice landings before I went for the actual landing on the helipad. So for an athlete to come out from what I thought was a failure, but that was quite challenging.
So cool. The video is online. You have to check it out. The next race is the most experimental of the playlist. AGP versus stunt plane. Place your bets. This is the second time that Red Bull is loaning you the RB20. You'll start to make a Dutchman jealous.
Unsurprisingly, the AGP has the advantage on starter, but once the plane is airborne, it's a different story. If you're a Red Bull addict, you'll probably know that this isn't the first time an AGP and a plane have been put on the same grid. Last time, it was in a straight line in a drag race. Here the plane will have to make very tight turns if it wants to keep up with the AGP, which is much more accustomed to doing so. That's really exciting! We enter the second lap. familiar with the RB20 on the track today, certainly more so than its aerial rival. Stressed for 10G and capable of reaching 975 meters per minute, its size makes it the perfect aerobatic aircraft. Let's hope our pilot will give us a taste. They're neck and neck. Succession of turns is tricky. When it comes to speed, the AGPs play in a different division.
One more clash to close this Red Bull playlist. This one is big. Confronting two disciplines is not enough. So Motorfest and Red Bull are offering you the choice of three. Which is the best? Becky asked our Red Bull athletes what they think.
In your honest opinion, between rally, AGP and motor racing, which is the most intense discipline? The one that brings the craziest sensations?
I think it's motor racing, actually.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
I think F1, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'd go for Formula One.
Rallycross, moto racing, or AGP? Here comes the ultimate challenge of the playlist, but also the end of the podcast. But I'm never far away. I'm always on the air. You find all the podcasts on the Sounds of Red Bull track list. And then I don't know why, but I feel like we'll see each other again soon. It's off to the apex of the playlist. AGP, champion of all motorsports? Yeah, it makes sense.
The line first in this head-to-head race? Answer in, about a few minutes. The rally car has already changed its course to reach the dirt. special route designed to match its strengths. The AGP stands out for its speed and braking quality, and of course it sticks to asphalt and is unbeatable in corners. So to make things fair, it will be racing the longest route. The bike's route, on the other hand, is shorter but ultra technical, forcing the rider to swing through the curves without losing speed. The AGP seems to be ahead for the moment, but don't forget that its path is the longest. Everything can still change. Time for the family photo. To the end. We're about to find out who's going to win the ultimate racetrack, the Speed War. The AGP won, ladies and gentlemen, the Queen of Motorsports, the one and only.
You haven't claimed your reward for this playlist. End of Speed Clash, the first milestone in a promising relationship between Red Bull and Motorfest. I'm sure this is just the beginning. You've discovered a multitude of racing vehicles in this playlist, all of them motorsports gems. But we had to choose just one for the reward. We thought maybe you wouldn't mind having a Red Bull branded Ferrari in your garage. The Ferrari F48 GT3 FE Corse is just for you. complete this playlist. Playlist is ready to try. Let's go try it. New challenges unlocked.
Listen up, you buff horses. I've got. Listen up.
Playlist cleared and ready for takeoff, driver.